I'm going to start now. My area of interest is child welfare.
Oh, well, let me just get this.
Okay.
To push play. Okay, ready. Let's see if it goes.
Should I introduce myself?
Sure.
Yeah. Hi. I'm speaking with Michelle here. My name is Rose Lee. I'll start with my area of interest, which is child welfare. Most of my information that I got is from two websites. The first one being First Nations Child and Family Caring Society, which is it's the only national nonprofit organization that provides research, policy, professional development, and networking to First Nations children, youth, and families. They have over 300 presentations since 2010 to educate the public on First Nations children, youth, and families. The second website is Indigenous Perspectives Society, Caring for First Nations Children Society. I got more stuff on policy and research from this website in regards to First Nations and First Nations Aboriginal Children Family Matters. And they collaborate and have discussions with both provincial and federal governments. Some of the great stuff that they've done and is in progress, I guess, is the Aboriginal Operation Practice Standards and Indicators redesign project. And what they're doing, they're starting from a traditional place. They also do research for around policy training workshops. They review resulting changes to policies as they relate to First Nations child and family service agencies, and they have some. And they've also set up a resource library around child welfare. I guess in relation to the policies, I also got from these websites that I found very interesting. The first one being Jordan's Principle, and the second one being Shannon's Dream. They both, the first one came from the first website, and then Shannon's Dream from the second website. And right now, they're the two most widely supported child policies in Canadian history. Jordan's Principle is child's first principle, and it's named in memory of Jordan River Anderson, who was a First Nations child, and he was born with very complex medical needs. And he spent most of his years unnecessarily in hospital, while the province of Manitoba and the federal government argued over who should pay for his at-home care. Jordan died in hospital at the age of 5 years old, never having spent a day in a family home. Payment disputes within and between federal and provincial governments are not uncommon. First Nations children are frequently left waiting for services they desperately need, or are denied services that are available to other children. These services could include education, health, child welfare, recreation, culture, and language. Jordan's Principle calls on the government of first contact to pay for services and seek reimbursement later, so the child does not tragically get caught in the middle of government red tape. The second website talks about, it makes reference to a video, and the video is called We're Fighting for Shannon and All the Other Kids Too. And here we see some kids, they're elementary students, they're talking about their understanding of the past injustice faced by Indigenous children. The children in this video is taught history, and one of the things they're taught is the Royal Proclamation of 1763, where First Nations were recognized as self-determining nations. They're taught about the ways it was for the First Nations and the struggles and injustices they have undergone, because they were forced to learn the ways of the European settlers. These kids are learning about residential schools, how Indigenous children were forced to be ashamed of who they were. This video also informs of some current issues of children living in poverty, such as mold in their homes. The campaign encourages us to seek for safe and comfy schools and quality education for First Nation children living on reserves. Fighting for Shannon is about a young girl's hope for a good education, her struggle and fight for equal rights for a good education for children on reserves. But unfortunately, Shannon died in a car accident on her 16th birthday before her dreams could come true. This video makes reference to in 2009, our Canadian budget funded half the amount needed for an equal education for Indigenous children, the need for educational programming and opportunities for better school conditions, children living on reserves. Fighting for Shannon is about a young girl's hope for a good education, her struggle and fight for equal rights for a good education for children on reserves. But unfortunately, Shannon died in a car accident on her 16th birthday before her dreams could come true. This video makes reference to in 2009, our Canadian budget funded half the amount needed for an equal education for Indigenous children, the need for educational programming and opportunities for better school conditions, to reduce health risks from problems such as extreme mold, high carbon monoxide levels, sewage fumes, frozen pipes, rodents, unheated schoolhouse portables. And so I guess this is leading into the second question, or the last question. How do these teachings and information from the website inform your policy analysis in the future and in your social work practice with Indigenous people and communities? I guess a good start here, and what we see in especially Shannon's, this video on Shannon, is that the teaching in schools of history and current issues around Aboriginal or Indigenous populations, young students advocating for education for First Nation students. They suggest that people should go on marches and write to government about their concerns around First Nations people, and I guess overall to seek out and advocate for change to programs, services, research, and policies. That's all I have.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Did
really
that
good.
sound okay?
So yeah, there's a lot of information there. Like it sounds like you've